California history.
The largest civil unrest.
3 minutes. Open the vault now! Oh, that's real nice.
You don't want it?
No, I really do.
Hit the ground now!
I need to make a call.
Hello. How can I help?
I denne uge er der biografpremiere på det actionfyldte science fiction drama Hotel Artemis. Filmen er spækket med fantastiske skuespillere, der alle spiller forbrydere. Hele slænget er indlogeret på det såkaldte Hotel Artemis i Los Angeles, et tilflugtssted for kriminelle, som er kommet galt af sted, og som har brug for at blive helet af stedets mangeårige sygeplejerske, der spilles af en vetterblak Jodie Foster. Og en helt særlig nat tørner de sympatiske og usympatiske eksistenser i den grad sammen.
There's a war zone up here.
Am I gonna make it out of here?
We can do it together.
This is what I do.
Visiting hours are never.
Hotel Artemis er en underholdende og ekstremt velspillet film, fyldt med herlige twists og figurer. Filmen er skrevet og instrueret af Skotske Drew Pearce, som har boet i Los Angeles i mange år, hvor han blandt andet har skrevet manuskript til blockbusters som Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation og Marvels Iron Man 3. Vi har talt med den debuterende spillefilmsinstruktør over telefonen, og vi lagde ud med en lidt spøjs snak om lyd, filmmusik og højdeskræk. Hello, Drew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Johan?
I'm great. I wanted to tell you a little funny story because it's such a small world. Because October last year, I was visiting LA and I was visiting Wiley Stateman, your sound designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'd interviewed him for a documentary I did on Oliver Stone's JFK, which of course he worked on back in 1991.
Sure.
I was visiting their place. By the way, it's the scariest driveway in the universe going up that hill.
I'll tell you about that in a second.
Okay,
I'll tell you about that. Go on.
I remember walking into this little Dolby Atmos studio that they have, and they had this very moody picture of Dave Bautista from the film. And now, a few months later, I'm here talking to you, and of course, Cliff Martinez, your composer, is of course also Wiley's neighbor. So
Absolutely.
It's funny how the world is sort of small sometimes.
I am now infamously scared of heights. Infamously because I completely forgot I was scared of heights and fought to shoot the rooftop scenes in Hotel Artemis on real rooftops in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then the day I walked out onto the first rooftop on the Scout, remembered that I hated heights. So, you know, Wiley Stateman's one of the best sound designers in the world.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that he loved the movie and wanted to work on it. And then the first day of 2 months of going up to his soundstage high up in the Topanga Hills, I realized that I'd done it again. So in the end, I actually had to get my assistant to drive me every day because it was so terrifying. But get this, it gets worse. So yeah, Cliff Martinez is like on the next ridge over.
Yeah.
So I go to pitch the movie to Cliff Martinez. The road to his house is 100 times worse than Wiley's. 100. It's like being in the Italian Job up a dusty mountain for 5 minutes. But I must have looked like such a lunatic when I got up there. I was covered in sweat, like I was shaking. It's so scary to drive up to Cliff.
But before delving too much into memory lane about Wiley's statement also, I wanted to say I really, really liked Hotel Artemis.
Thank you, man.
And I thought it was an amazing feat as a debuting feature film director that you were able to juggle so many characters and stories at the same time. Were you ever worried as a storyteller that things would get convoluted?
You worry about it every day, but you also just have to trust your instinct or, you know, plow through and keep listening to everyone around you whilst also keep listening to yourself in a weird way. And the weird thing is, you're juggling everything. And I think that's what's probably most intense as a first-time director, particularly a first-time writer-director, is the director part of your brain wants to try things and go down different roads and wants to be brutal with the script. The trouble is, at the end of your directing day, that's when you have to start your writing day and take the notes from the director. So you end up working what's already a demanding, terrifying, gratifying job. You end up kind of working a double shift, and that doesn't make it particularly easier. What it does do is it means you forensically know the reason that every single thing is in the script. And I think as a first-time director, that's then very helpful because there's no question someone can ask you that you don't know the answer to.
And it's one of the greatest casts I've seen in years. I mean, Jodie Foster, Jeff Goldblum, Sterling Brown, Sophia Boutella, Zachary Quinto, Dave Bautista. And with the film being a relatively small independent production, I was wondering, was it a difficult task to get all those talents on board?
Yeah, I mean, I adore my cast, and one of the saddest things is, being a small movie, there will literally never be a day when all of the cast are in the same place at the same time. And the magic of filmmaking is the thing that has to sell in the idea that all of these people, all of these characters were in one place together at the same time. As a director, it's your job to make sure that all of the performances live in the same universe. You know, when you get to the edit, that it feels like they're all in the same world. And my movie makes that more difficult because I'm not going for an entirely realistic or ultra-grounded tone. I'm trying to create a mood tone, something that has its own voice and world. And so curating the performances so that they'll all mesh together when you finally see it come together in the edit is the creative mountain that you have to climb with an ensemble cast. I'm so proud of the cast of Artemis, and I don't think there's a bad performance in there. And as much as I would like to take credit for that, if you hire incredibly good actors, then guess what? They often are incredibly good at acting.
Yeah.
The Wolf King is in the building.
You need to leave here right fucking now.
The Wolf King of LA.
Such a dumb nickname.
I guess my ballroom days are over, baby.
Also, one of the great things for me is a couple of them have almost been cast against type. Like, I'm a huge Trekkie, so when I think of Zachary Quinto, I think of Spock, a logical, charismatic guy, and here he's a mean wannabe gangster, and you have Goldblum, one of the nicest men in movies, as this evil, feared crime lord, and then Dave Bautista as this soulful, thoughtful man. Did you consciously cast people against type?
You've instantly used the one word I always use to describe Dave, which is really interesting. Soulful is the word that I think most sums him up.
Cool.
I mean, literally, I've used that word like 100 times over the last year and a half. So I'm glad that you picked up on that too.
It's a good word.
You know what it is? It's because there's something about the contrast between a 350-pound shit kicker of a guy and the vulnerability and sweetness that he shows both in his personality and even when you're just like in a close-up on his face and you see what's going on behind his eyes. Like, that's an incredible juxtaposition. And not to take away from his acting, but that does come from Dave himself. He's like that in person as well. But to your bigger question, I think it's really just my taste. But it's also, you know, if you're making a small movie and you want to feel distinctive, then what you don't really want is to cast an actor in a role where you feel like you've seen them do that 20 times before. It's also, in a genre movie, when you start to feel a bit hacky, you know, because you feel like you're just slotting pieces into place. Now, don't get me wrong, we live in a world where some parts of the audience would rather see the version of it that they expect. But that wasn't the movie that I wanted to make. That's not why I'm going to spend 2 years of my life creating something. And so I did cast, if not against type, then I often cast into an aspect of the actor that I felt I'd seen, but that hadn't been explored more fully. So with Goldblum, we know him now as an avuncular, Sinatra-like figure.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But like, in Deep Cover in the 90s, he's an amazing bad guy.
Yeah.
Is this what's between us and destiny? Is this it? Is this what's standing between us and greatness? Huh?
Oh, you shouldn't have done that, David. You shouldn't have.
But I did, so let's get in the van.
You shouldn't have done that.
But I did, so get in the fucking van!
And all of that charm is a wonderful front for what lies beneath. And so that was the aspect of it that I wanted. And, you know, as we mentioned, Dave Bautista, even Jodie, like, you know, Jodie's playing 15 years older than she normally does in a role that is arguably more vulnerable and definitely more humorous than she is normally known for.
No dice, Slick.
This thing is covered in blood.
It's always covered in blood.
I have the fucking chip scar, look!
Yeah, well, that could be from any dark room in the country.
Fine, I'll pay you then, all right?
That's against the rules. Yeah, I gotta run checks. You could be a serial, you could be a pede, you could be a terrorist. There's plenty of other hospitals out there.
Where the cops are fucking looking for us. You see, that's your job, lady, to fix people like us up. Over the gate!
You raising your voice to me? That is also against the rules.
When I go see a movie, I want to be surprised. And I understand that not everyone does, but that is my taste. It makes it even more nerve-wracking as a first-time director because you're rolling the dice, you know? But I'm really pleased we did because I think what we get is an original flavor.
I fixed the littles.
If you knew what she could do with that cup of coffee.
We've got rules here, lady. You see that badge? I'm a healthcare professional.
Busy night at the Artemis.
Efter vores snak om Hotel Artemis fik vi desuden sludret en smule om Iron Man 3. Drew Pearce skrev Marvel-filmen sammen med dens instruktør, Shane Black, og filmen blev en kæmpe succes, som indtjente godt $1 milliard på verdensplan. Men mange fans var utilfredse med filmens kontroversielle twist, og hvis man ikke vil have den afsløret, så skal man naturligvis stoppe videoen her. I starten af Iron Man 3 lægges der op til, at Iron Man skal slås med sin ærkefjende for tegneserierne, den orientalske superskurk The Mandarin. Ben Kingsley har rollen, men godt halvvejs inde i filmen blev det afsløret, at The Mandarin blot er en skuespiller, som er hyret af en helt anden skurk.
Based on a Japanese recipe.
Hey!
Bloody hell.
Don't move.
I'm not moving. You want something? Take it. Although the guns are all fake, because those wankers wouldn't trust me with the real ones.
What?
Den enormt overraskende twist fik en blandet modtagelse, og vi var simpelthen nødt til at høre ind til både reaktionen og twistens baggrundshistorie. You're one of the people behind one of my favorite twists of recent years. I just have to quickly delve into Iron Man 3 about the genesis of the Mandarin twist. You know, did you have that in the back of your head from the start?
No. Shane and I were exploring the Rogues Gallery, and we knew we wanted probably, as higher tier villain at that point. But we also wanted to do something that, I think at that stage, the MCU, it didn't have a villain problem, but it didn't have that many distinctive villains, I would say. And that has definitely been, in everyone from Killmonger to the Vulture, I think that is not a problem anymore.
Yeah.
You walk through those doors, you forget any of this happened. And don't you ever interfere with my business again. Because if you do, I'll kill you and everybody you love.
The idea from the Mandarin came about genuinely inspired by the source material. The criticisms of it not being faithful to the source material, I think, missed the point of what the Mandarin was. It was created as an unironic propagandist character, in inverted commas, the yellow peril of 60s America, probably one of the clearest racial stereotypes and examples of Orientalism in popular culture at the time, And that's what the Mandarin is in Iron Man 3 as well. The only difference being that the movie calls out the fact that that's what it is and builds it into the plot. And for me, that was the only way that I could see the Mandarin working. But when we came up with that idea, it was so sticky and it felt so new. And it felt like we would actually Trojan horse a big idea into a summer movie. It felt subversive and crazily and brilliantly, Kevin Feige agreed. And, Shane and I were able to smuggle that twist right the way through to the first screenings, which in and of itself, just on a practical level, I still can't believe. And of course we wouldn't have been able to do that if it hadn't been for the fact that Sir Ben is brilliant as both sides of the Mandarin.
You'll never see me coming.
Blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, I still marvel at the fact that an insanely esoteric and counterintuitive idea that I had one afternoon when I went to the bathroom at Shane's house made it all the way to screen. I think Shane did a brilliant job, and Sir Ben did a brilliant job with who the Mandarin is. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of in my career. The fact that we took a modern thematic high concept and we smuggled that inside a giant blockbuster. That's a good day at the office.
Yeah, cool. And now I can't help but wonder if that toilet incident inspired the toilet scene in the movie with Ben Kingsley. That's also great.
Well, I wouldn't go in there for 20 minutes.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Drew, and I hope that LA doesn't turn into the crazy, appealing clusterfuck that it is in the movie within the next 10 years.
Oh, God, there are some days when it feels like it already is, but fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
I gotta fucking kill you now!
And I don't really want to do that, because I feel like we got chemistry.
Things are going to hell in a handbasket full of blood and shit!
When I walk away, don't jump on my back, okay? If you do, I'm gonna fuck you up for real this time.